I really approach movement work with a permaculture lens. And permaculture is just a fancy, English word for what indigenous people have been doing all throughout history, which is uh, living in harmony with the land and like being of the land rather than dominating and owning the land, and kind of asking yourself like, how can I fit, be in right relation? How can I like be another organism in this ecosystem, right? And so it's the same with movements. We need to kind of weed out certain behaviors from the garden, and we need to really ask like, what are the different nutrients and nourishments that our movements need? And really, there's a like, if water, if facts and data about how messed up stuff was, and anger and like the fear and the kind of like that energy was water, we got to ask ourselves, are we overwatering the garden? Not to say it doesn't need water. I believe that anger is one of the most important. In Chinese medicine, they say that anger, which the word in Cantonese is nu, is actually just the energy that a seed needs to burst through the shell, go up against gravity through all this dirt, burst out into the air, and then spread those first two leaves. That is anger. Anger is the energy that is initiating, and it sparks, and it creates change, and it creates new, and it's necessary, and it's beautiful. And music and the art and the spirit and those aspects are really the kind of like the compost and all those other nutrients that the factory farms are missing. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say it's more or less important than water, more or less important than air or sunlight, but we need to be able to look at the work that we're doing and really ask, what is missing, right? Because if we look at those rich and vibrant movements that our movement ancestors, so maybe not our ancestors of blood and bone, as KJ was saying, but our ancestors of lineage, of movement lineage, what were those movements like, right? What lasted? It was the music, it was the spirit, it was the art, it was the soul, it was the symbolism, it was all of those aspects that continue to inspire and move us today. So we really have to ask ourselves, are we relating to the work of environmental change and social change like a machine, where it's like, this piece is broken, replace it, this person is broken, cancel them, right? This, cog, let's insert more here, and it's this mechanistic, reductionist, post Cartesian revolution approach? Or are we viewing it as a garden? Because that's the main distinction between, mainstream medicine and the many alternative medicines. And of course, I'm very much a proponent of the integration and the holistic of approach, but one of them, it's like, what's wrong, and let's deal with the symptoms. And one of them, it's like, let us nourish the garden of you and let the natural resilience, and it takes a lot of trust, and it's like, what does it look like to let the natural resilience of our collective body, right? So we can hand down a garden, a social garden, to our next generations that is nourished.